Good afternoon from the Gothenburg Water Utilization Learning Center, and today we're out with a couple of our experts that are looking at one of the challenges we've noticed this year in our fields. Particular, we've got a dryland field of corn behind us that there's spots that look pretty good as far as dryland corn is concerned this year, and then we've got within a few feet like spots that have almost died or you're not going to raise anything. So you go from maybe 100 bushels an acre, maybe 120 bushels an acre to zero within a 2-foot time frame, and there's just a lot of little spots out there. So we actually came out, did some digging for a little bit of investigating, and I've got Jeff Dakota and Mike Peterson with us that are going to explain a little bit about what they're seeing out there.
Okay, thanks, Mark. Well, when we look at our fields, we think everything is real similar and uniform, and maybe it's got a little topography or hilltops. This field, or this is an example of the micro topography and micro differences in a field that can almost make the difference in the way a crop looks. From spread your feet wide apart and you might be standing in a good spot and the other foot might be standing in a bad spot. And that's going to come down to what's the history of that field been, what does the water infiltration look like in there, how's that field been treated, and we're right on the knife edge of showing those things coming up. So if you look at this plant, this is the one from the dead area, and there's very few big roots in there. It's a lot of little fibrous tissue. These guys really struggle to stay alive. You look at this plant that's still alive and green, it's got a lot more big roots. They're still functioning. They're pulling up nutrients. They're struggling too, but they've had a little better chance, and yet they were only less than 6 feet apart.
Yep.
So it all comes down to soils, right, Mike?
Oh, it sure does. As we could tell in this particular spot where they excavated a soil pit, the soil is very low in organic matter, and you can see this is past tillage process of a tillage pan that's down about 4 inches, and it's about 1.5 inches, 2 inches thick, but the roots rode right up on top of it, and they had a struggle to stay alive. They couldn't penetrate. When they did, it would had to been probably a crack or something of that nature so it could go on down deeper. We noticed that the roots didn't extend very deep in the soil profile, and this is part of the culprit right here.
So when we look at that and you see, you've got a long history with soils as a soil scientist, Mike, and you have in the field as well as an agronomist, Jeff. When you look at the situation we've got behind us, what are our remediation options so that we don't, or at least we try our best not to see the same situation next year?
Well, one of them is you're probably going to have to rip it, and they take a little bit more examination, but I would say you probably have to rip it about 9 inches deep, and it's going to take a lot of power because, oh my, that thing is going to be like trying to break concrete. And then there's two options with that, along with that ripping, is to apply manure so the manure will fall into the shank holes and help get organic matter in here and get the microflora and fauna to start doing their job too.
And so after you do that deep ripping, then be careful you don't put that compaction back in.
Oh gosh, yes.
So no till, strip till, there's the ways you want to go, and the farm does Mark and the farm and the guys here do an excellent job on that. But you can put compaction back in the ground too, and if you're going to spend all that money and take it out, let's leave it out, and you get a little more rain, Mark, and then these dry spots will disappear.
Yeah, rain makes everything look better.
Yes, they do.
But yeah, if we've spent the money, obviously we got it this way by using some of those tillage practices in the past. If we do spend the money on deep ripping, we'll try to keep it out of there. But thank you guys, and we'll look forward to visiting with you later. And hopefully, if you've got some spots in your field out there like this will give you some ideas on what to do about it.